Hello, I'm Earl, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. Well, with me, I have a very special guest. No surprise, she's quite an amazing young lady. My guest is MP Ludmila Weever. How are you doing, MP?
I'm good. Hello again. Thank you for having me here, and hello to our viewers and listeners.
Well, it's campaign time, right?
It is indeed. Less than a week now here coming up, and it's a little bit unnerving. This is the last stretch. This is the time that matters. This is the most important stretch, so we have to keep focused. And it's exciting, nerve-wracking, but I know that the best is yet to come.
So what do you eat for Christmas and New Year's?
Well, let me start with New Year's, actually. So with New Year's, I went to bed around 10 o'clock, 10:30. I sent a message out to everyone saying, I'm about to hit the sack, but I want to wish you Happy New Year. And that's rare for me, because normally I want to be with family. We're either watching the fireworks in Phillipsburg, but this time I just wanted to sleep, because campaigning during Christmas time, the holidays, it's just not the best. So I was just very tired. For Christmas, it was quiet. It was just with the family that was here. And, typical ham and guava tart for sure. I had as dessert from my cousin making it for me. So it was great. It was always a pleasure to spend time with family during the holiday season, even though it was cut short with campaigning.
So you had turkey, no turkey?
I don't really like turkey so much.
Oh, you like
so
me?
they
I
had,
hate it too.
Yeah, they had turkey. I think turkey's always a little dry.
Yeah.
I more, think of Christmas with ham, Christmas ham.
Right.
So I usually indulge a little bit in that.
That's great. And you have a big family, so you all have quite
We do have a big family. So it was, but this year was a little subdued, this year was a little bit more quiet. We had some friends come over as well, and early dinner. By the time some of the family came over, they had eaten already elsewhere since really early in the morning. So they hardly ate, except for us that were cooking for ourselves. So they just kept our company. But it was good. It was really nice.
So you're campaigning, you're on the list of the party PFP, right?
Yes, Party for Progress. Yeah. Yes, what they call the gold standard. It has been exciting.
What number are you?
I'm number 3.
Okay.
I'm number 3 on Party for Progress, and it's about 10 candidates. It's 10 of us, being led by the leader, Melissa Gums, and then MP Rayon Peterson is number 2, and then me. And it's been a very easy transition, very smooth transition. And the story that I've been telling everyone the whole time is, I'm so proud to be here. I'm so proud to be in a place where I'm heard and where my opinion is valued, and it just works out. It just fits right. And I've had 4 years under my belt, or almost 4 years under my belt, and I think when you've been in office before, it gives you some time to know what works for you, so that you can stay true to your ethics and your values and your morals, and you find a place that works for you, and that is where I am, and it's the best decision I've made.
It's quite a unique party. I think, I don't know if I should say this, but it's a party with people, everyone below 50, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, I am the oldest. I'm going to look into the camera. I am the oldest in the party. I am 43 years old. Yes, everyone's young. You have a mix of people from public and private sector, all amazingly hard workers. There's some of them that I already have been working with in government. People that I knew Melissa I knew well before from when we were in school, because she was in between the age of me and my younger sister, the number 3. Yeah. And so I knew Melissa well growing up. Everyone else is younger, and then I left the island when I was quite young. So I either heard of them or got to know them now that I'm in St. Martin, working here, and especially now being part of PFP team. And they are all amazing, brilliant individuals, hardworking, and I hope that St. Martin gives them the chance along with me.
Well, I didn't mean to say that.
No, but that's fine.
I think it's, when you look at yourself, you've accomplished quite a lot politically at a very young age.
Yeah, it's, whenever, it's not to, thank you for saying that, and it's not to downplay it, but whenever people remind me that I was Minister of Tayat and remind me that I'm now an MP, I tend to forget about the titles and I just do the work, if you know what I mean. Like I tell people now that I'm going to their houses and talking to them and I said, guys, I just work. I'm just a workaholic. I remember when my Aunt Millicent was on stage with me the first time I ran saying she just works her butt off. And then, you know, it's coming up now as a reminder of, wow, my aunt described me the very right way because I'm a workaholic. And sometimes you have to really learn to balance your work life with your personal life so that your personal life doesn't get affected. And I have been learning that, actually. This 4 years has taught me that. But all I did was work for the people, Oral. And that's all I've been telling that I am doing and I'm going to continue doing. Every decision I made while I was minister was in the best interest of the people of this country, and every decision that I will make in the future is going to be in the best interest of the people of this country. And that's why it feels good where I am, because when you read the manifesto of the party as well, it's about people and partnership, and it fits with what I am at my core, what is natural to me. And you know, you said that I had a lot of accomplishments, and I became minister at a time. I became minister in the middle of COVID, so just as the country had shut down.
That was a difficult period, huh?
And the thing is that, you know, the motto of my school, the high school I went to with my sisters, it says festina lente, right? In Latin, it means make haste slowly. But the other fun side of the motto is function in disaster, finish in style. And I love repeating that one because it's not about working in a mess, but it's you're functioning in this uproar, in this disaster period, and you finish in style. And that's exactly how I think it went for me, because I was able to convince my colleagues in the Council of Ministers to open this country. We did it while minimizing our risk through implementation of an insurance plan that was there for our biggest base of tourists, which is the North American market. It was to get them out because we were limited in our hospital. And I was able to restart cruise tourism, being the first in the Caribbean to restart cruise tourism. Even though other people might try to take the praise for it, I was the one that did it.
You did a lot with the cruise tourism industry.
I did, and you know, I opened up communication back with the others to be able to have a direct line of contact with them. And I don't think that would have been available if I didn't work my butt off the way I did to get them to trust us, to have faith in our country again. One of the things that I was met with when speaking with different cruise execs is, you know, St. Martin, why is their government always changing? Like they, you know, they threw this in your face all the time that we really had no consistency and stability. And unfortunately, you know, unfortunately they still got that, but I was still able to give them a sense of commitment from our country.
But you took very decisive action.
I did, and that's how I work. And I don't do it reactive. I'm not reactive. I do study everything as I can, and you know, even with the way that I communicated with our community here, whether it was a hotel or the airlines, with the cruise execs, with the taxi drivers, everyone, in my opinion, has equal value, equal importance, and equal say. And I think if you don't, actually not I think, let me say that with certainty, if you do not respect the opinion or the say of your stakeholders, then you're going to miss out on really serving your country in the best interest of your people.
Well, you did a great job as Minister of Tayat, and a lot of people didn't want you to see you go, right?
They didn't. And, you know, at the time, and I think me going is a little bit of foreshadowing of where we are today. You know, it says a lot that I left a ministry at the time that I felt like I had done the utmost for that ministry, the utmost for my country, the best for my country. I opened the country. We had taxi drivers working again. We had hotels filling up again. So I did my job, and the most amazing feeling I get is that today people still remind me of that, still thank me for that. And they acknowledge the work that I did. But the thing is that work wasn't done in a vacuum without issues, because I also was part of a team that thinks that they can control you, that they can tell you what to do. And I resisted those kind of requests or decisions that would put me in a precarious position where at one point I said, I ain't going to jail for none of you.
But let me ask you, MP, you're running now to be re-elected a member of parliament.
Correct.
And the PFP, party number 3. What if you ask in the next government to go back as a tier minister? Would you do it?
So this is I'm gonna answer you. I have been asked this question not only by the party. I have been asked this question while out on the campaign trail, and I have said the same answer that I did since the first time around, which is, I studied economics. I worked in finance. Those are the things I know. And actually, outside of what I studied, this is what my family was in, right? So my family's always been in a tourism industry, whether that is in retail, if you're talking about property, if you're talking about retail as
Your uncle was head of the
my uncle was in the tourism
yeah.
office before. This is restaurants we were in. So you are in an industry that is massively affected by tourism. It's a big important part of our economy here. So I think most people wouldn't be able to escape being touched by tourism.
It's our lifeline, basically. Right?
Exactly. And I say the same thing. I said, I know economics, I know finance, and it would be the same thing that if I had to be appointed or nominated to take up a ministry, it would be what I know. And it's because that is what I know until I get to the point where I feel that, okay, I get a handle on how things are in government in the larger scale of things. I think most ministries are about managing people, are about listening to the experts in the ministries, especially if you have persons that have that background to be the experts in those ministries. It is not about ministers coming in and doing their pet projects, because that is why we are where we are in this country. When you have ministers come in, they do their little pet projects that are going to, help out and enrich their friends and their family and their little elite few. That's where we get into problems. And then you basically disenfranchise your fourth pillar of civil servants, where civil servants are doing the job day in, day out, but they have no say in what is happening in their future. And I saw that in the ministry where I went to every department. I said, how can I help you? Where do we go with this? What I didn't know, they taught me, and I relied on them. And this is why I got things done. The best compliment that I got was from one of the department heads saying, man, he's like, you're a tough manager because you ask for a lot. He said, but you got stuff done. And that's what I want the people of St. Martin to know, is that when you ask people about me, they will tell you that I get stuff done. And that's what you need in your leaders in this country. And this is why I am running again, asking people to support me on PFP and to support the PFP team.
In case you just joined us, I'm Earl Gibbs here, speaking about everything with MP Ludmilla de Weever, former Minister for TIAT, and she's my guest. It's amazing when you look at St. Martin and all the things, the issues we have. What concerns you most as a politician?
What concerns me most is we've lost touch of actually doing for our community. We've lost touch of the connection with each other. And I said that from day one when I came in. People probably thought that I was speaking from a yoga teacher voice. But if you do not have a connection with your community, if you don't know what the problems are at the core of your community, there's no way that we can get out of this rut. What I have seen in my own personal observations over the years is you have a government that has switched to serving the people to serving themselves. And I have been very vocal about that. And I have said that, especially in the last year. People have heard that coming from me in Parliament. And I have just been stating the obvious, as hard as it is for some to hear and as good as it is for some to hear. This is why it has resonated and touched people so much, and why people I don't even know are coming up to me and say, we appreciate what you say in Parliament, because I'm just talking the truth. And I just want people to be very critical when they're going out to vote, and to vote for a massive change, and to vote out the regular sort of things that we've had going on for 20 years, which hasn't served us well. It hasn't served us well at all. When you look around at all the activity happening on this island, you don't see that success being passed on into your community. You don't see your community flourishing. You see a community that is struggling more and more since a hurricane in 2017 and now since a pandemic in 2020. And if you don't get together and say, I want to improve the lives of my people, then you have no place in this game of going into election, this government. You have no place in this competition. Yes, it is popularity, but you need to know whether or not the persons that are going to lead your country in the right way, if they have a record of doing good, if they have a record of doing well, if they have a record of not lying, if they have a record of literally not thieving. And that's what the people need to vote for. Vote for change and vote for the gold standard.
You know, a lot of people are so despondent right now. They give up, basically. They don't want to vote. What do you say to those people who are sitting in the line and saying, look, I don't want to go out and vote?
I'll give a story of an 18-year-old, of an older, someone younger than me, in their 30s. They told me when someone I had gone to approach a new person to me, that I hope is a supporter when I send them the video. And she told me that when she turned 18, it was the first time she voted. And she is now in her 30s, and she said, I don't want to vote. I haven't voted since I was 18, and I don't want to vote again. And when I asked why, she said, because people come around all the time, and they've not done anything for the neighborhood I live in. But when you think about it, I can understand her reason for not, for saying that, because that is a valid reason. But this is why I said to go look for people who have a record of helping. Because if they have a record of helping, you know that they will follow through. Don't look for fake promises. Don't look for things that they can't deliver on, but give someone a chance this election and hold them to it. Because going from 18 to your 30s, it tells you exactly that timeline that I've given you, where it's been almost 20 years, where people are feeling like nothing's happening. But when you don't vote, you lose the right to have a say in what goes on in your country. You basically disappear into the background. You become a ghost, and that's just not worth it for you. That you lose your voice. And I was more worried. I was more concerned about that in the very beginning when I started campaigning. But the more you go to people, the more people get to know you, the more that they understand that you're real. And even better is when you can actually tell them to go ask someone they know and you know about your ability and your commitment. While I was in office, for example, and before I was in office, they realized that you're genuine and you're real and you actually care. But they have to go out to vote. And right now, initially the challenge had been the younger voters and the older voters. They were the older ones were a little bit disenfranchised. The younger ones really felt that the majority of people that they had to look up to in government weren't really role models. Because when you look at it, the kind of characters that we have running our country have very questionable backgrounds themselves. So everybody is looking for pride, a little bit of pride in their representatives, a little bit of dignity in their representatives. And that's what we're giving them. That's what I'm giving them. To have dignity, have a voice, and vote for that person that's going to give that back to you. I
sense you want to bring back that pride.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the thing is that sounds idealist. And then when you combine that with the fact that I get stuff done, for me, it's a winning combination.
All right. In case you've just joined us, you're watching or you're listening to Speaking of Everything on Hot 99.9 FM radio, Facebook, and YouTube. My guest is MP Weever. When we come back, we'll continue speaking with her right here on Speaking of Everything.
We are vibrant, expressive, warm, and diverse. Together, we conquer, and now we expand into new horizons, giving you more of the best. Introducing our new Bankomatico Plus with wider acceptance, purchase protection, and enhanced security. Whether you're online, traveling, or in paradise, experience more with Windward Island Bank. Bankomatico Plus. More of the best.
My guest on Speaking of Everything is MP Ludmilla de Weever, and she's campaigning on the PFP number 3, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 3.
Yeah. So what else is happening to you on the campaign trail? How has it been? What are the issues? What people are concerned about?
Most of the time, what you're hearing is that people are concerned about what improvements are going to come in their neighborhood. And what I have to say to that, for instance, it just goes back down to how we manage money here, how we manage our ministries, how we manage our funds. And if you see that earlier on, I said that one of the things that happens that I've observed and I was aware of even in the past is that ministers become puppets for the parties that they're on. And when I say that, I'm not saying necessarily all parties, specific parties. And when you go in there as a puppet and you're just doing the bidding of your party or whoever else is, managing those strings, holding those strings, then you can realize why it's very, very likely that people are going to be left in the dark in terms of the people, whether it's policies affecting people, projects affecting people, infrastructure, improvements in neighborhood. Part of that is the way that we manage money and how we actually allow ourselves to be used by those with bad intentions. And one of the examples of it that you will see is last minute you see people complaining about something, and all of a sudden in 2 weeks before election you see a road being fixed, a bus stop being fixed. That's just not normal. And you know what? That is for me very offensive. So when you're coming around campaigning, you're basically being told a complaint of a neighborhood, and then all of a sudden in 2 weeks you fix it. You don't act like that. You show me a record of what you've been doing year round. This is what it's very simple things people are complaining about. And when you have ministries or ministers that do not deliver on those very simple things, they do not deserve to be representing the people, because they're there to set themselves up and set their friends up, sometimes their family up when they're granting them certain things like land and contracts. It is the reality of it, and it's that corruption that we need to curb. And that is a big part of why people are complaining and why people don't want to vote. And this is my role, and the role of every honest candidate on the party that I am running with, is to convince you that we are there for the right reasons. We want to improve the quality of your lives, and we're committed to that from the beginning, and we're going to continue to be committed to that in the end. Besides a simple thing like stopping sewage in my neighborhood, fixing the bus stops, improving roads, improving the healthcare coverage, that sort of thing. What I have been very concerned of with a lot of people calling me, especially in the last 3 weeks, is voter registration.
Really?
People not having their cards delivered to their house. I asked one person, so I've had in total about 20 persons call me that are living on the island that said that they didn't get their voting card or they were deregistered. And I have said this publicly, where I am not blaming civil servants for this, but you have to be very thorough in your job before you deregister someone. One of the biggest concerns I had is in that deregistration process. I never saw names published in the newspaper before they did that, because when it comes to collection, right? When you're trying to collect money from someone, you have to prove to the court or to the entity that you did everything in your power, right, that you tried to collect, whether that is calling, emailing, sending a letter in the mail. You have done, or even in the newspaper, you have done everything in your power to try to collect information or collect monies from that person. I would expect the same effort would be done with people's voting rights, with people's voting cards. And I will give it a story of someone that I asked if I could share their story without calling their name. Not only am I concerned about people being removed this last year, and I do think for very malicious and nefarious reasons, without a proper reason, without a proper source of information to have them be deregistered, without putting an ad in the paper saying you will be deregistered. What happened to this one individual is their child moved to the Netherlands, and in that same effort, they deregistered the entire family that was living here. Now, I want to give that story because when I brought this up in Parliament, I was told that I was being libelous. I said that what I said was libelous. And that's what I said, and I responded, and I said, if what I'm saying is the truth, then is incorrect, then prosecute me. Because now, in this run-up to election, I'm trying to give people, comfort and let them have courage and give them the know-how. I've actually been giving them the forms to fill in of making sure that they're registered. They get their registration form from the government building, and then they go to the courthouse and get that paper stamp. Because I want everyone to know that their voice matters, and I won't be silent about people trying to remove their birthright to vote in this country. And this family example I had, it's even more worrying about the process that's being done. Again, it's not personal. It's about the process. This is criticism on a process, not a human being. This individual whose family was entirely removed has been removed for 2 years from the registry as an accident, and only now during voting time, when their voting card is not delivered, is why they're calling me and asking me what to do. And here's the thing that worries me about the process is
you don't have much time, but yeah.
This person is removed for 2 years. So does that mean they don't get their pension for 2 years? Does that mean the taxes they pay, they're not going to get their tax return for 2 years? And that's the concern of an incomplete and inaccurate system. And what I want to tell St. Martin is, don't be fooled off. Don't be scared. You have until the 5th of January, actually up until January 8th, they can be called to the courthouse to have it to have it corrected, to get their chance to vote and come out and exercise your right to vote for the people. And that's what I wanted to say about that.
How concerned are you about poverty and also the rising debt of the country?
And this all has to go back to the reality of us being responsible when it comes to our financial planning. And it's part of what I was sort of hinting at earlier on in our conversation, that when I look at my island, what I have seen is a very fast deteriorating middle class. You have people that are struggling. You have single mothers that are struggling, having problem with housing. And while you can use, election time to say, oh, we need more housing, and use it very, very conveniently at a time, I don't think it's genuine when you say that, because when you look at what is in place to support single mothers, what is in place, and what we are pushing to have private sector employers help us with, having understanding when it comes to mothers with sick kids. We're missing that connection, and it all goes back to our community, how important we feel our community is. I don't see that from our government. I just see a lot of talk, and I see little concern, little compassion. And one of the things that we have been very adamant of and vocal on within our party's manifesto is basically establishing that poverty line and making it known what we need to survive on this island. And if you don't admit that, if you don't basically commit to that and have empathy with what needs to be done and the people that need to have their lives improved here, again, I will say you have no place representing our people.
And you committed to that? Absolutely
committed to it.
And we just about out of time. Have a minute. It's all yours in the form.
That's all mine. This morning when I woke up really early, I said, I really want to wish the people of this island good health. I want to wish them prosperity. I want to wish them love and pride. And those are all the things that we need to get back on track in this country. I mean that from the bottom of my heart for 2024. And I ask the people of this country to wake up on January 11th, to come out, to give us your vote. Give me your number 3 candidate on PFP your vote. Listen to all the candidates of PFP and commit yourself to the gold standard.
I want to wish you much success.
Thank you so much, Oral, again.
Thank you. MP Weever right here on Speaking of Everything on Facebook, YouTube, and Hot 99.9 FM radio station. See you next time. Take care. Bye.